Hello, friends. We are at the new moon in Libra, right at the tail end of Libra season. Tomorrow, we shift into Scorpio season, where we get a little deeper with everything. But I thought I would switch it up with the post today and just kind of check in with you about how you're doing and let you know how I'm doing and how I'm feeling this new moon in Libra, instead of writing it all out for you. So let me know if you like the video instead of the writing. I like to come and do like a lot of different formats and stuff. So let me know how this lands for you. I won't be offended either way, and excuse me while I burp. I just had some great breakfast tacos. So we're at the new moon in Libra, and tomorrow we shift into Scorpio season. And for me, Libra has been in my third house. It has been in my communication house and my local community house. And it has also, the third house also represents daily life, and the things that we do to keep our daily life going, which I was reminded about this morning. And it makes a lot of sense, especially as we're like right at this tail end of Libra and all this stuff is kind of blowing up. And it's really interesting because at least for me, what's kind of happening is there's a lot of things that are happening that are out of my control at the moment. And in some ways it feels frustrating. And in some ways I'm just practicing this surrender to the process, and that there's other humans involved. And when you get other humans involved, or even if you're the only human involved, we are human. And, I always say, like, humans be humaning. And what I mean by that is that there's so much that we can't control. There's just so much we can't control. And that is the thing I'm hearing so much from people, just like noticing people online, noticing people that I'm asking for support from, and then what their reply is like, oh, well, actually we're working with these people, and then it's kind of out of our control too. It's super interesting how all of these patterns start to happen. And I think I recognize the patterns. And when we're talking about, when I'm looking at what people are sharing online, I'm like seeing all these similarities of like, wow, there's a lot that we're all feeling like we can't control right now. And that is part of humaning, right? It's messy and it's uncomfortable and it's hard, and it's like all of these things where we have mirrors all around us all the time. The person that checks you out at the grocery store is a mirror, and your friend that you visit locally is a mirror, and your family are mirrors, and your friends are mirrors, and you are a mirror to yourself sometimes. And I think about that in all of these things that I can't control, and I'm feeling really good about the mirror somehow in all of this, because honestly, a lot of times what I would do is I would be so stressed and so anxious and so worried about all these things that I can't control. But really, that's not useful. That's not helpful for my for the situation. Because I just have to move forward in the ways that I can control and the things that I can do. And even then, there are things that I can't control in that process, right? One of the things, I've talked about it on Instagram, so you might have seen it over there, is that we just had this beautiful launch for the blankets at the beginning of the month. And it was so wonderful. All the people who supported Big Love Studio and purchased a blanket. Thank you. I appreciate it so much, so much. And none of them have shipped. And I'm not producing or shipping them. They are through another company. I design them, but I don't ship or produce them. And so I can't really do anything about it. What I can do is send gifts to people for their patience and thanking them and hoping that they, in letting them know about and communicating with them, you know, like my third house in Libra is activating for me this season, right? My Libra season is activating my third house, which is, like I talked about, that communication, that daily life, that local community. And so all I can do is communicate. I'll send people gifts. So if you're one of the people who haven't received your blanket yet, thank you for your patience, and I'm sending you something. And you know, I think about my daily life and what I can control there, right? And I'm thinking about, like, well, I sometimes I can work with my anxiety, and sometimes it's harder. But one of the things that I know helps my anxiety is this. Getting outside in the sunshine, feeling that there's a bigger world than what's in here is helpful to me. I know there's a lot of things in the world right now that are hard. And also, when I just hole up in my office and I'm in my head and I'm really focused on those kinds of problems, I forget that there's all these other people. There's all these other animals. There's all these other plants. And New Mexico is really beautiful for that because you can see for miles. And, you know, there's not any clouds right now you can see, but when the clouds move across the sky, it is this like dramatic thing, and you can see them shift across the skyline and the horizon, and it makes me realize that these clouds are like over so many people, right? There's so many people here. My problems are not that big on the grand scheme of things. And that's helpful for me, right? It's helpful for me to remember that I am not alone in this world. And of course, right? And thank God. Also, that would be so wild, right? But all these plants have existences, and these mountains have existences, and just the bugs and the bees and the birds that, you know, flow through these these juniper trees behind me, they all have their existences. And can you imagine in these mountains how many animals live there? And by animals, I mean humans too, because we are them as well. There's so many other things happening. And that helps me. I don't know if it helps you, because I don't know what works for you, but this is what helps me, right? Coming outside, getting some sunshine on my skin, coming back to those daily activities that are helpful for me, right? Drinking my herbal tea and not over drinking caffeine, just enough to start the day, but moving on to herbal tea after that. That supports my system, right? And this specifically is tea that's helpful for my early luteal time and that kind of cycle, right? And I believe that one of the reasons I'm not worrying is because I'm in that time too. Because if this was right before my menstrual cycle, I probably would be having a very different experience. My hormones are supporting me in this moment. And the fact that I just took some time off and hung out with my friends, right? All of these things are supporting me right now to navigate this, and knowing that I can control so much, and there's a lot I can't control. Peaches just walked up with a big old stick in her ear. What are you doing with this? Wow. And I can't control how many times she goes in the burr patch either. One of the reasons we wanted to move here was so that she could wander. And it's been really beautiful to see her nervous system relax. But that includes the burrs, which, it's part of it. And I think we have to know that all of the discomfort that we have as humans, that's all part of it, right? We're not working to get rid of the discomfort. We're working to we're not working to get rid of the discomfort. We're working to be able to withstand the discomfort. Because we're not going to get rid of discomfort as humans. Like, hate to break it to you and to me, but we're not going to get rid of the discomfort. Discomfort is part of this whole thing. And if we're constantly working to get rid of the discomfort, then we're not really getting the point. And I think the point is, can we be present within the discomfort? For me right now, what that looks like is saying, okay, I know that there's these things that I can't control. And I know that there's these things that help me when I feel out of control. So can I return back to these things? The going outside, the taking time for myself in the morning instead of just rushing into work like in my pajamas, right? Yeah, because that's also a thing that I've done, right? Often. And I know that it doesn't serve me. I know that it actually is really hard for my brain when I do that, and makes me feel, activates my stress and anxiety. Because I forget that I have a life outside of the work that I do sometimes. And that is just that is just a thing that I have to navigate. But I'm able to be present with it now because I've been taking care of myself A week ago, I promise you, this is not the reaction I would have had because I was working a little too much. I was not taking as much care of myself. And I'm really noticing the difference now, right? And I think part of that comes with this fall in the Northern Hemisphere. For me, feels like this time of like we're releasing, we're going kind of into the cave. There's things that we can't control. And it's this time of surrender and watching the leaves drop the leaves drop their trees. The trees drop their leaves. And knowing that they're just bringing their energy down into their root system, right? So this new moon is really about planting seeds. It's about every new moon is an opportunity to begin again. It's an opportunity to step into a new energy. In Libra, we're talking about balance. We're talking about light and shadow. We're talking about things that show up that we might be out of our control, but what is in our control, right? It's the scales, right? And so like if there's a bunch that's out of your control over here, where can you go over here? Right? What can you put effort into? What can you bring to the table? And you might not be able to control how it's received or whatever happens here, but you at least put an effort in there, right? And there's something there. So also, is there anything that you need to like close the loop on? Is there anything that you just need to like, shoop, okay, I'm done with that, and then kind of move it forward, right? One of my friends that was here this week visiting, she said this thing over and over again, and I just thought it was fantastic. Her name's Ashley, and she kept saying, oh, like, let's close the loop on that before we begin a conversation about something else, right? Like if we're going to dinner, like, can we close the loop? We know exactly where we're going. We know what time we're leaving, all of that stuff before we start talking about this other thing, because we have a tendency to pivot mid-sentence into something else because we get excited to see each other, and neurodivergent minds be diverging. So, and I just kept thinking about that. What are the loops that are open for me right now that haven't really closed yet? And can I like bring that into something that's solid and closes the loop on that so that I open up space for me to begin something? And that's a new moon for you. So we are having a moon circle tomorrow night, Wednesday night, depending on when you're looking at this. Wednesday, October 22nd, I believe. And it's at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. And you're welcome to come. And what do we do in those moon circles? Why would you come? To me, a moon circle is like a check-in with yourself. Partway through the month, every couple weeks, right? It is this opportunity for us to get together in community, chat about the moon and kind of what's up astrologically, the themes that we are exploring through the moon. And then we do a visualization so that your wisdom, your spirit guides, your inner knowing, your subconscious can step forward and integrate this information. And we do a visualization where we go and like reclaim something, or we let something go. And it's really interesting, the things that will come up. You don't have to share. I'm happy for you to keep those things private while you process, actually. But you get the opportunity to ask me any questions that you have about this moon or anything else that comes to mind, because I love questions. I love answering your questions. I get really excited about them. And for paid members of Substack, below the paywall, there will be a discount code for the Moon Circle, because the Moon Circle is included in your paid subscription to our Substack, our email newsletter. And for those of you who don't have a paid subscription, it's $22 for you to join us. And we end the call with an animal guide that wants to come through and support us here. And it's an opportunity for you to reconnect with what's coming up for you around this moon. I think we're all going to have different experiences of how this shows up. And especially because we have Libra in different houses in our charts. But this is really that opportunity for you to reconnect with what your subconscious wants to bring forward some information for you. And it's fun. And we get to hang out. You can turn your camera on or not. Whatever you want to do. It's a Zoom call, and I hope to see you there. And if you have any questions about it, you can pop into the comments and let us know. But this Moon Circle we do every 2 weeks. It is $22 for the Substack, which includes 2 Moon Circles a month. You get the full breakdown of the Substack, and it has a lot of information, practices, rituals. We get into reflection questions. We get into like stories that I share that are like deep stories that are me reflecting on like what's kind of coming up around these different themes that we're exploring astrologically. And you know what I'll do? I'll put a 30-day free trial link below this video, so that if you want to try the paid Substack, if you want to try the Moon Circle, you can do that. You can come, and then you'll get the replay if you can't come to the live. But we always love you to be there live. But you will get a 30-day free trial, so you can try everything out, see if you like it, and then stick around if you want to. So yeah, I hope to see you there. And thanks so much for being a part of this community in any capacity that you have been a part of this community. Thank you for being here. All right. Happy New Moon, everyone. I'm sending you a lot of big love.